One sunny day, a honeybee was merrily buzzing through an orchard when she stopped to collect nectar from a mystery apple blossom. She passed that pollen along to a Honeycrisp tree, and months later, the sugar bee apple was born. Naturally sweet, with layered notes of caramel, honey, molasses, and the perfect crunch. The world has embraced the sugar bee apple, a pure delight for snacking and baking. Download our new free recipe book and find a store near you at hellosugarbee.com. Sugar bee apples, from bee to you.
You know that thing where you get an amazing pair of shoes at a really great price and want to tell everyone about it? Yeah, so do we. Here at Designer Shoe Warehouse, we'll give you something to brag about, like the latest styles from brands you love, or the trends everyone's obsessing over, or shoes that make you feel like, well, you. So go ahead, show off a little. Find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. Head to your DSW store or DSW.com today. DSW, let us surprise you.
There's no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast.
On the left.
From your glade.
That's when the cannibalism started.
What was that?
You know what's one thing Jodi Arias never had to really deal with?
A living boyfriend?
I was trying... She dealt with a living boyfriend for about 5 months.
Okay.
I went on the trampoline yesterday.
You did?
Yep, to just try to get some movement going.
Are you getting into extreme trampolining?
There's nothing extreme about it. I would say it's mundane trampolining. And not only do I need a front bra, because my tits slap up and down when I go on the trampoline. It hurts.
It hurts.
It makes audible slapping noises that it sounds like I'm washing a seal in the backyard. But now my back titties slap. Because you know, when you have full-on front titties that wrap around to side titties that go all the way to back titties, it comes from the grateful gifts I was given from losing weight.
Yes, from your Polish Jesus.
So now I have a curtain of titty meat that goes front to back that all jumps up and down. And in that way, shape, or form, I've had it worse than a woman normally does. And just like Jodi Arias.
Wow. You know what, Henry? You're brave for doing what you did.
Thank you.
Welcome to the last podcast on the left, everyone. I am Ben with Big Titted Henry, and Mark is Parks, who has no boobs at all.
None whatsoever. It's flat up there. I mean, I'm talking negative A's.
Negative A's, indeed.
He's a real carpenter's dream.
Yes, he is. I would lay that carpet. I don't know.
I just mean he's a very capable apprentice.
Yes, indeed he is. Well, speaking of capable, we are on to part 2 of Jodi Arias, and I just have to do this. It's the age of Jodi Arias. Age of Jodi Arias. That was in my head all night last night, so that's what I contributed to the show today.
Great work, man. You don't need to do research.
Now, as bizarre as Jodi Arias' behavior was before and during the murder of Travis Alexander, the weirdness of this story didn't truly begin until after Travis was killed and the hunt for justice began.
I do like the way that you've said she stabbed this man 30 times and then shot him in the head, and you're like, bizarre. Like, that is, you know what? Sometimes when I'm mid-stabbing my ex-boyfriend, I'm just like, I'm being so bizarre.
This is just...
I am so bizarre.
This is so not me right now. This right here, this is just wow.
This is
wow.
bizarre.
Now, we don't really have any idea where Jodi Arias went or what she was doing immediately after the murder of Travis Alexander, because her phone was turned off the entire time she was in Arizona. Most likely, Jodi was finding a choice spot somewhere in the desert to hide both the knife used to stab Travis and the gun used to shoot him, because neither murder weapon has ever been recovered.
She spent, obviously, a significant amount of time hiding these weapons. I don't know if you need to spend that much time if you're in the middle of the Arizona desert, but she definitely did. Because she was gone for hours. Immediately, she was on the road.
Anytime you're driving into Arizona and you're like, that's right, better turn off my phone, you're always hiding a murder weapon. Mm-hmm. Every single time.
What we do know, however, is that 6 hours after murdering Travis Alexander, Jodi Arias turned her phone back on 27 miles south of the Nevada border, and the first thing she did was call Travis's phone to leave a voice message. And this is that message.
I know Leslie called you, so I already talked to her, so you can call her back if you want, but it's not necessary. My phone died, so I wasn't getting back to anybody. And what else? Oh, and I drove 100 miles in the wrong direction. Over 100 miles, thank you very much. So yeah, remember New Mexico? It was a lot like that, only you weren't here to prevent me from going into the 3 digits, so fun. Tell you all about that later. Also, we were talking about, when we were talking about your upcoming travels my way, I was looking at the May calendar, so I'm all confused. But Heather and I are going to see Othello on July 1st, and we would love for you to accompany us. I don't know when Team Freedom's event is, though, but, it's on the list, so we could do Shakespeare, Crater Lake, and the coast, so if you can make it. If not, we'll just do the coast in Crater Lake. But let me know, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.
She just stabbed him 30 times, shot him in the head, and slit his throat. And she spent a good amount of time composing herself enough to leave this voicemail message acting as if shit was totally chill.
Yeah, but what she suggested was worse than death. It was, what are you going to do? You're going to go see Shakespeare in the Park with Jodi Arias and some other random ass chick?
Why don't you stab me fucking 30 times, then shoot me in the head, then slit my throat? I'd rather do that.
That's the
sarcastic. I need a sarcasm font.
The only good thing about that story is that you didn't have to do any of those things she suggested. What a nightmare.
Well, she obviously wasn't in denial about what had happened because the entire murder had been planned so meticulously, from the theft of her grandfather's gun to the action of bringing gas cans from California in order to avoid detection. Instead, Jodi was covering her tracks by making it appear as if she didn't know that Travis was dead, to the point where she's essentially inviting his corpse to go to a Shakespeare festival.
Weekend at Bernie's just got a little bit more boring.
This is like such an overreaction on her part. She's like, I'm planning all of these things. You can tell she knows it's all bullshit.
She was also trying to establish an alibi, saying that her phone had died and she'd lost the charger. Wouldn't you know it, she'd goofed and driven 100 miles in the wrong direction on her way to the prepaid legal conference in Salt Lake City. I mean, you're right. She's over-explaining everything.
Has anyone ever driven 100 miles in the wrong direction? This is still, there's modern technology still back then, right?
She had to shut off her iPhone to get lost.
Well, this is 2008. I don't know. Did she have an iPhone? I think she might have had a flip. I think she had like a Nokia brick.
Yeah,
well,
she might have.
She's a cool chick.
In other words, Jodi was so arrogant about her ability to deceive others that she thought investigators would listen to this message, think, oh man, she obviously had nothing to do with this, and just let her go free.
She's like, wow, this voicemail is incredible.
This is really good. This is one of the better voicemails I've ever heard.
But speaking of Salt Lake City, by the time Jodi turned her phone back on, she was 24 hours late to a meeting with her new boyfriend, Ryan Burns, in the City of Mormons at the prepaid legal conference, which, as far as everyone in her life was concerned, that was the reason why she'd left California that week. Everyone thought, oh, Jodi's going to Salt Lake City. She's fucking this new guy.
Sure.
And the guy expected her there on June 4th, but when he was expecting her there was the time that she was fucking Travis Alexander in anticipation of later killing him.
And Ryan Burns' entire deal is just been like, I don't know why it took her so long, but, I just figured girls... Like, that was him on the stand.
She's putting on makeup.
I don't know what she's doing, but I was just sitting here waiting for it, because their text exchanges back and forth were starting to edge into the sexual. But
right.
I found a website that had all of Jodi Arias' correspondence, text and email via Travis Alexander and other people just in a row, like in a timeline. Uh-huh. And during this time period, she started planting the seeds with Ryan, and then I think the words that he used were, when you get here, make sure you don't play hard to get. When she'd roll into town. So she had been setting all of this up, but Ryan Burns didn't know that he was just an alibi.
After she turned her phone back on, she called up Ryan and gave him the same excuse concerning the dead phone in the wrong direction, and Ryan, presumably under the same spell that Travis had fallen under, said, fine. Just make it here when you can.
Got that coochie fever.
He's got coochie fever indeed. But to be fair, not to be fair in any which way, but she does have a nice voice.
She has a wonderful voice, and we'll see that she has an absolutely beautiful singing voice.
Oh.
It's fine. I wouldn't say she's like Adele.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? She's not an incredible find. It's not like I'd hear Jodi Arias singing at the gas station like they did with Toni Braxton.
In context of her being a murderer.
Again, you're
she
right.
is a 10, and when it comes to singing, I'm sure she's making a lot of her fellow inmates happy nowadays, just singing random lullabies to them.
Herbert Mullen was a good singer.
No kidding.
Meanwhile, Travis Alexander's body was still tucked away in his own shower, waiting to be discovered. Although that discovery would take a ridiculous amount of time, considering the fact that 2 other dudes also lived there.
2 of the thickest boys to ever play Call of Duty lived in that apartment with him and did not look at the blood, didn't look at any, because I have not found any documentation that said that they were in and out of that apartment. They obviously weren't there the night that he was murdered, because he was murdered and because he was screaming, right? So, and God knows what he was doing, and the gunshot, no, unless they were just straight up had their fucking cans on and just were deep into Cuphead, but while looking at porn on their phone at the same time, just like, it sounds like Travis is choking on something, but he's not knocking or anything. So.
No.
Well, it's not like they didn't notice something was amiss. I mean, the day after the murder, Travis's roommate Enrique came home to find the house locked, which was unusual for Travis. He never locked his front door. This is fucking Mesa, Arizona. So, Enrique used the keypad code for the garage and saw Travis's car was there, despite the fact that Travis was supposed to have gone to Cancun and there was obviously no life whatsoever in the house. Some might say it was eerily quiet.
Yeah, you know. But then you're like, fuck yeah, I could jerk off in the living room. As soon as you see him, I don't know where Travis is. It smells like pennies in here. Oh, well, I guess he won't miss any of these Doritos.
Oh, my. Bad roommates.
Furthermore, Enrique also noticed that Travis's beloved and ever-present Choose the Right ring, which reminded Travis that sex was naughty, had been left on the kitchen counter. Travis never left his stupid ring behind.
Oh, my goodness.
It's kind of amazing that, which we'll find, is that he did remove that ring whenever he had sex with Jodi, as if he thought that that was like the Sauron eye of God, and that was the only thing that could tell the world that he was having anal sex with not even his wife. And then we had received several emails that said no Mormon truly believes in the Catholic carve-out, but there's the other thing I heard was that Mormons do call it the poophole loophole.
Well, that's a fun place to be.
But despite all these red flags, Enrique just shrugged, said, ain't my business, and just went about his day.
Yep. Technically, he's a great roommate.
The power of the roommate to not get involved in a murder trial, because they know on some level, I think all roommates that you barely understand what they do for a living, they have on a cellular level an understanding of like, I really feel like if I ask a single question, I might, like a lawyer or a cop might speak to me, and then they'll know, like, I'm high.
You got things to do. You got to go to Cancun yourself. You can't spend all this time at trial.
They'll fucking know I'm high, dude. They know I'm holding, dude.
They will know you're high.
Well, that's not to say nobody noticed Travis's sudden disappearance, because he was on the books for a big prepaid legal conference call the day after his murder. But while friends showed concern at his absence, they still didn't check in on Travis physically.
T-Dog was just left, man.
Well, I mean, the sad thing is that, like, one of his friends was actually texting him all night, being like, you better be dead, dude. You missed a big fucking call, bro. And he felt real bad about that after.
Yeah, you should have.
Yeah, that's fine.
Meanwhile, Jodi had arrived at the apartment of Ryan Burns in Salt Lake City and had sex with him less than 24 hours after murdering Travis.
I don't know what everybody's saying. Jodi's pretty chill.
I think she's pretty cool. Pretty cool chick.
However, Ryan did notice a couple of odd things about Jodi upon her arrival. She didn't act differently in any way whatsoever. She was still the same old Jodi. But Jodi had just dyed her hair brown, whereas the last time he'd seen her, she'd been a blonde, a switch that again points towards premeditation. And speaking of premeditation, on her way to Salt Lake City, Jodi had been stopped by a cop because the license plate on her rental car was upside down, which meant that Jodi probably switched plates with someone while she'd been in Arizona and had switched back to the originals, either in the dark or in a hurry.
I have a weird analysis point. My question is that did she try to hide with the license plate, or was this a deeper fabrication because she told Ryan a part of the reason why, because she kept having to build her excuses as to why she was late meeting Ryan. I think what could also possibly be is that she purposely flipped the license plate upside down, and after she made up this lie saying that she got pulled over, saying that her license plate was upside down. I think it's possibly that too, where she then thought of this ingenious plan, because she does this like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, she has these plans that are dumb shit. They're stupid. They're absolutely stupid. But you can tell she thinks it's the smartest fucking thing that anyone could ever do.
I mean, flipping the old license plate upside down, that's kind of a unique approach, or a reason to be late, I guess, a strange excuse.
Yeah, it's like a thing that doesn't happen ever. Like, it's a made-up thing. It's a thing that, why the hell would that happen? Who do you know if it's difficult to hang it upside down. Some cars have different nuts, bolts on the tops of the license plate for you to flip it upside down.
Yeah, she said that it was a prank that a bunch of teenagers had pulled.
Oh, that's horseshit. That's a funny prank.
That's just horseshit.
That's a funny prank, because when you're a teenager, you flip the license plate upside down and you look at it.
And you're like,
look at that.
I got that one.
That is an upside down license plate. This is so fun. Another nice night in Mesa.
Additionally, Jodi's hands were covered in bandages and little cuts, which Jodi said she got at the restaurant where she worked, but were in fact the types of self-inflicted wounds most people have when they stab another person repeatedly that doesn't want to be stabbed. Now remember, a big part of Jodi's trip to Salt Lake City was the prepaid legal conference, which meant that there were plenty of people in attendance who knew Travis and still believed that he was alive. Travis was a big name in prepaid legal.
Of course.
This, I think, was all a part of her plan, because she probably expected Travis's body to be found quickly. And if that were to happen while she was at the conference, she would not only have been the center of attention, but she would also have plenty of people who would bond with her grief and later become defenders should she need them.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen that way. Instead, Jodi had to spend the whole conference pretending Travis was alive, telling a mutual friend that even though she and Travis were no longer together, they would always be friends.
Oh, I mean, I guess they can still be friends.
Well, this came from, if you read their deeper correspondence, talk about horseshit, because Travis Alexander to everybody else pretended Jodi and him were done.
Right.
They didn't even have contact anymore. Meanwhile, you look at these long-winded emails that they both send back and forth talking about the moments they shared and how much love and how, like, he's never come so hard in his life. And that's why when he's with her, he shoots massive loads.
Wow.
Because everything that she does turns him on. I mean, meanwhile, she's saying stuff like, I do sort of understand that when I was your girlfriend, you didn't want to refer to me as your girlfriend because you just wanted to appear as a motivational speaker, as a single available man, and that I understand. But now I need you to claim me as your friend. I need you to tell your friends that we are friends and stop not acknowledging me and not tagging me in pictures on Facebook. It turns into this.
You do want to tag her in pictures on Facebook because then the world knows that you guys are buddies.
She does not, but he did not want that because he was both afraid of her and deeply sexually still involved with her, even though they were supposed to not be talking anymore. So she shows up now as this new thing, like, well, Travis and I were talking over the weekend. Meanwhile, she just killed him.
Yeah.
And they are all being like, okay, Jodi, I thought you and Travis were like broken up and stuff. She's like, yes, but our story is a mythical tale of two souls that fly together, not together in hand, but together in a trip like birds that fly together in a flock. And you're just like,
it's amazing she's keeping all this together, though.
She's a psychopath.
She's a psycho, but yeah.
Straight up sociopath. It just doesn't fucking register with her.
Okay.
Well, after the conference was over, Jodi went back to Eureka and stopped by her parents' house to tell them that she was most likely gonna leave town. When they asked why, she said, quote,
because I might be blamed for something.
That's really ominous and scary that you said that, Jodi. Like, what do you think you'll be blamed for, having a license plate upside down?
I was looking at this Mormon reading that said something along the lines of, if thou doth smelt it, then thou doth dealt it.
So you're saying that you farted and you have to leave.
I just can't deal with the shame of my poo-poo flakes being up in your nostrils, mommy.
Everybody farts. It's okay.
Well, she wouldn't tell them. You know, she said this cryptic shit, and when they asked, like, well, what might you be blamed for? She'd go, I don't want to talk about it.
She also was supposed to she had very little contact with her parents to begin with.
Yeah.
And they had a very chilly relationship on the whole. So she was just almost like, in my now I've been so deep in the mind of Jodi Arias the last 5 days, just watching her speak on the stand, that you can kind of see this sort of minor aggression towards her parents, because to everybody else, she was calling Travis's parents, being like, I don't know where he is, and going out of her way to text Travis's friends, being like, have you seen Travis? And then, but to her parents, she was like, I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen to me, and you're gonna have to deal with it. And then they just leaves. Meanwhile, because it's another thing, she did it to hurt them too.
Yeah.
It is tough being a parent. Because what are you going to do when you seriously, what do you do when you have a psychopath kid? What do you do? That just sucks.
I don't know.
It's very scary.
I don't know. They didn't help, but they didn't
hurt. What were they going to do?
I was talking about this
with a crazy person.
I was talking about this with Natalie. It's when it gets down to it, it's you can have mental health issues and you can deal with stuff and be beaten and do this stuff, and none of it is an excuse to stab somebody 30 times.
Definitely not.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Good grief.
Well, at this point, the oh fuck reality might have begun to set in, because while Jodi had done pretty good in covering her tracks before the murder, her follow-through after the murder was surprisingly lazy. It was very half-ass. For example, when she returned the Ford Focus she'd rented to drive to Mesa and kill Travis, the agent who took the car back in, a man named Rafael Colombo...
Ooh, hello, sir!
He noticed that the floor mats were missing, and the front and back seats were stained with what appeared to be, in his words, red juice.
Called another sample of the power of denial, where he's just must be some kind of red juice on this.
Of course.
This is juice.
Well,
this is not evidence. This is just juice. Juice isn't evidence.
Well, every time we're on our road trips, how we need all of the red juice, how we always stop and get red juice, and we drink it, and then sometimes you spill a little bit,
How many times? Because the only proper way to drink red juice is to pour it 12 inches above your mouth and try to catch it.
Yeah. Nothing better than road clamato.
I mean, she could have gone to a Pep Boys and replaced the floor mats. She could have done a much better job of cleaning out the red juice. She was very lazy with it.
Interesting.
Meanwhile, as Jodi was returning the rental 36 hours after the murder, Travis Alexander's body was still undiscovered.
Oh, my goodness.
Although, to be fair, the stench of decomposition had not quite gotten strong enough to make it through the double doors of Travis's master bedroom.
At some point, the roommates are to blame here.
I mean,
not that they could have saved him or anything, but
no, I mean,
it's a lot of time.
It's the power of denial. It's very, very powerful.
And all this time, Jodi was still sending texts to Travis's phone and sending emails asking why she hadn't heard back from him, while continuing to make crazy threats by telling him she was planning to sleep in his bed at his home during his upcoming trip to Cancun.
You see samples of the way she must have spoken to him in when she turns cute, because she sends an email, again, after stabbing him 30 times, shooting him in the head and slitting his throat. She sends an email joking about, she's like, well, maybe when you're gone in Cancun, which I understand you're going with, you're just doing a trip on you, just you having you time, that I understand. Maybe I'll just go in through the doggy door again and make myself some brownies and sleep in your bed. JK, winky face, winky face.
Well, he's having the ultimate alone time. He's dead.
Yep.
This is horrible. I just can't believe that, if you're Travis and you, let's say there is an afterlife, you're still fucking yelling at me? You are still yelling at me. You stabbed me.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
By Monday, though, the smell had finally made its way through the double doors. And yet, the roommates still shrugged and said, not my problem.
Not my problem.
Don't. All right.
I mean, not everyone knows the smell of death.
I feel like it is like a rotting stench.
Yeah, I think
it does get to a point where you might want to ask questions, but still, you never know if he left a bag of taquitos in there or something. You don't know what's going on in a man's room.
Well, it wasn't until Mimi, the woman Travis had kind of sort of been dating, went with a mutual friend to finally check on him, that they found the body. 5 days after the murder.
What? 5 days?
5 days.
Not to be too gross here, but he must have been like kind of a puddle.
It looked real bad.
Well, that was a part of what fucked up the whole, like, how did he die? It was that he was sitting in a pool of water for 5 days, just rotting and all folded up, right? Like, he was all smashed in the center of the shower stall. And when they finally found him, I mean, then they realized it was this massive crime scene that they just ignored.
Yeah, that's... I mean, honestly, we're not, we don't see each other all the time. But I would like to think... 5 days, guys? You going to leave me rotten for 5 days?
I'd be looking for you for 5 days, but mostly it'd be like, where are our shows, Kissel? Like, that's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Now, of course, the interviews started immediately. And when investigators began asking Travis's friends and family who might have done this, every single one of them joined a resounding chorus that said over and over again, Jodi Arias.
May?
No. Detective Shitnips over here. I've seen her beaver. There's no way she's guilty. That beaver's an innocent beaver if you ask me.
But at the very least, one friend did give Jodi the benefit of the doubt and called her to tell her that Travis had been murdered.
I would love to hear Jodi just be like,
What? But you hear it several times. She does this act many times until she finally morphs into the Travis abused me storyline.
Well, finally, Jodi was able to unleash the performance that she'd been keeping secret. She sobbed and called every mutual friend they had to make sure everyone knew how distraught she was about the whole thing.
I think that this is the moment she was waiting for. I think that there is I don't know what you diagnose her as having, and no one agrees as to what her deal is, what her bullshit is. But there's a narcissistic stripe that shows that she was excited for the reveal almost, which is why I think she stopped being as meticulous about her cover-up story, because then it started becoming, when's it going to be about me? When's it going to be about me? When's it going to be about me? I've been waiting to tell everybody this story, this quiet story. At first just being the ultimate victim, right? Of being like, what am I? Now the whole world is going to ask about our relationship. Like, literally, I can tell everybody now about the drama of Jodi and Travis with a fucking camera in my face. I can't wait to tell everybody what great friends we were.
What Jodi didn't know, though, is that when she was calling all of her friends individually, the cops were circulating through that same friend circle to inquire about Travis's relationship with Jodi. In fact, one group of friends, all gathered in grief, got a call from Jodi at the exact moment they were telling police that they thought she was probably the one who'd killed Travis.
Damn.
Now, the crime scene the cops found was obviously fucking brutal, because while Jodi had taken great care to clean the blood from Travis's body, she didn't really clean anything else. The sink was spattered with blood. There were pools of blood on the floor where Travis stumbled after being stabbed in the back. There was a big pool where his throat was slit, and blood was smeared all over the tile floor of the bathroom and down the length of 2 separate walls.
No, it's red juice. We had Clamato Wednesday where we have virgin Clamatos.
This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one website platform that helps you stand out online. Yes, that's right. You don't have to smash your face with a hammer. You can just start a business. It's got everything you need on Squarespace, from securing your domain to building a professional site and showcasing your work all in one place. Let's say you want to show everybody how you can carve your ribs out of your lower abdomen so that you look more like a Ken doll. That's amazing. You can bring your vision to life with AI-powered design or curated templates, plus flexible editing tools that helps you create something that truly reflects your style, especially if you are somebody that is trying to corrupt the young men of America. That's what Squarespace is really going to help you. Squarespace makes it easy. It makes it easy for you to put all that together, and you just go to Squarespace and do it all. Thanks, Braden. Head to squarespace.com/left for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code LEFT to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. It's summertime, baby. And you know what that means. You're going to go to Quince and you're going to get yourself some new clothes. Something happened to me by accident recently. I had a nice little Quince mistake. It was Father's Day and we wanted to get Julie's dad something nice. So naturally we went to Quince. We looked around and we were like, oh, look at this 100% organic cotton mesh stitch button-up sweater polo.
I think Bob's really going to like this. So we get it, and we buy it, and then you know what happened? A little fudge, a little mistake. Accidentally sent it to our house instead of Bob's house. Julie's like, oh, I'll just get a refund from Quince and we'll mail Bob another one. I was like, oh, okay, that sounds nice. But, maybe I should just see it first. She pulls it out. I was like, whoa, look at that. It's like a button-down polo with nice little holes in it. It's breathable. It's not bad. I think I'm going to wear this to Jazz Fest this weekend. Wore it to Jazz Fest. Got 3 comments. One was by a lady. Not bad, Quince. So get your hiney over to quince.com and treat yourself good and feel good. Look good this summer. Make your summer wardrobe easier. Go to quince.com/last for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. It gets hot up there. That's QUINCE.com/last for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/last. Look like a prince and you quince, you jerks.
It's obvious we love true crime, but it does make us feel a little paranoid about what's out there, as it should. And that's why it's so important to get a home security system that gives you peace of mind. With SimpliSafe, you can stop crimes before they even start using their AI-powered cameras to identify threats on your property and alert US-based live agents to take action. Like arriving in a helicopter in the night, coming down from the helicopter, zipping down and breaking through the windows with their big axes, and going through the house, ripping through the walls, finding the criminals. It's easy to do. SimpliSafe has been a game changer for us. And the best part, there's no long-term contract. We've used it since the very early days of SimpliSafe here at LPN, and it keeps us safe, doesn't it? It keeps all of our thoughts inside the building. Then there's the ones we let out because they have to go out because that's a part of it. But SimpliSafe keeps the other thoughts safe. And for that, we say thank you, SimpliSafe. And we want you to experience the same peace of mind as we, which is why we've partnered with SimpliSafe to offer an exclusive discount to all of our listeners. Right now, you can get 50% off your new system by visiting simplisafe.com/LPOTL. That's half off at simplisafe.com/LPOTL. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Arias also left behind a mountain of physical evidence, including the .25 caliber shell casing from the fatal gunshot, plenty of hair, and a big old fingerprint right in the middle of one of the bloodstains on the wall.
She might as well have signed like Jodi was here in his blood because
Right.
It was a full handprint, was just on the wall.
But despite all this, Jodi went full steam ahead with her plan, thinking that if she played the role of the grieving lover all too willing to help with the investigation, the cops would be so beguiled they'd never consider her as a suspect.
She did a press conference the day that she did a self-declared press conference the day she was arrested. That is wild to see. And it's going to start a precedent that every single step of this trial, she calls her own personal press conference, which the media was very happy to oblige her to do, right? And she walked in front of these cameras because this is first wave. Innocent Jodi. She doesn't have bangs yet. And I think the bangs are part of her own physical cover-up. I do believe the hair has got a lot to do with her physical and mental state.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so she starts telling this story of, I'm just bushwhacked. I'm bushwhacked about
You're
this
bushwhacked?
whole scenario.
Interesting. Well, ma'am, we've actually seen your beaver. We know you're not bushwhacked. Oh, man. What I bring to the show. Yeah, sure.
A
maturity.
So while the cops were still doing their initial investigation, before she was even arrested, she called the Mesa PD multiple times wanting to speak with a detective in charge of the case, a one detective Esteban Flores. When he finally took her call, she used things that she'd done herself, like the slashing of Travis's tires, as evidence that someone else was out to get Travis. Now, at this point, Jodi was already the main suspect, but Detective Flores humored her a bit and asked her who she thought might have killed Travis.
Some kind of Asian. Some kind of Asian.
But they looked Asian.
I still don't know the reference.
Cable guy.
Cable guy. That's right.
Bad movie, funny scene.
Should have been Chris Farley, though.
Yep.
Should have been. The best Jodi could come up with, as far as suspects went, was a couple of former roommates who had been kicked out of Travis's house for allegedly, quote, preying on Mormon women.
Good and vague.
Jodi also swore up and down that she hadn't been anywhere near Mesa, Arizona on June 4th, although she had no confirmable alibi for where she might have been other than the vague plans to fuck Ryan Burns in Salt Lake City and the same old story about driving 100 miles in the wrong direction.
Watching the interrogation, it's all on YouTube. That's one of the more interesting parts about doing a modern crime is that all of this shit's on YouTube.
Right.
So you watch her. If you watch the 6 hours of interrogation, you watch her track all of this bullshit. And the way that she first lays out her story with the 100-mile detour and all this bullshit, and the cop is still sitting there just being like, you still left out like 18 hours, right? There's like 18 hours of timer. She's like, let's do that math again. We should do the math again. And then she goes through the whole story again. And he's like, yep, 18 hours is missing in this story.
Plus, there's a butt print and a bunch of red juice on the wall in this bathroom.
I gotta say, this is an illegal amount of juice.
Yes, it is.
You're just gonna have to, unfortunately, we're gonna have to arrest you just on juice possession alone.
My goodness.
Now, police had not yet matched Jodi's prints to those found at the scene because Jodi had no arrest record. But they did suspect her based on the fact that she was the first and only person anyone had brought up when it came to suspects. In fact, Detective Flores even brought this up to Jodi during their initial conversations, telling her that every friend of Travis's had nothing but the worst shit to say about her. And to this, she simply said, okay, and forged ahead.
Yo, but also Detective Flores is throwing these people under the bus. He's ratting out all these folks. This is a dangerous-ass bitch. And they're like, also, people are talking bad about you, Jodi. She's going to go kill everybody.
He knew that she wasn't going anywhere. Like, she wasn't going fucking anywhere. He was going to get... They already knew at the very top that she had done it. And so this whole story... And you can see... The okay... is a thing that she does time and time again, where it's this whole, like, you're an idiot. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how she says okay. She goes like, okay. And you just want to be like, I could see almost why, this is why your parents called the cops on you for growing weed on the roof. It's that okay.
I kind of like her a little bit. It's kind of fun. She's spicy.
You're going to get killed by a woman, man.
However, while Flores was trying to figure out the best way to get Jodi's fingerprints, the game got a hell of a lot easier when police discovered Travis's digital camera in the washing machine.
They found it while they had her.
Now, at first, the cops figured the camera was useless because it had gone through the wash. But since Travis had spent a little bit of money on the toy, the chamber that held the memory card was waterproof. As say you were to drop the camera in the lake, you wouldn't lose all the pictures that you'd already taken.
Well, I remember that commercial for that camera where it's like murdered your boyfriend,
Took pictures of the entire sequence of events. Don't worry.
This one will keep the evidence.
Now, Jodi did think to delete the photos, but one wonders why she chose to very suspiciously throw the camera in the washing machine with the bloody towels that she used to clean off Travis's body, where someone was sure to find it, instead of just taking it or just leaving it be.
It's strange because she took the murder weapons to Mesa. Why wouldn't she just take everything?
I mean, let's not forget, Casey Anthony is free because she used Firefox instead of Internet Explorer to Google murder methods just before killing her daughter. She's free because cops didn't know the difference between Firefox and Internet Explorer, and they didn't think to check the fucking browsing history on Firefox. So it's not a stretch to think investigators in 2008 wouldn't give more than a cursory glance to a digital camera if it wasn't in a suspicious place.
Narcissists have a way of doing magical thinking. So in my mind, I believe on some cellular level, Jodi Arias thought that if I continue my line of thinking, all reality will bend to my line of thinking. So in some ways, her haphazard covering up the crime, it is unconsciously, it is a way to be caught, like we see with serial killers all the time, where there's a little bit of, I want people to know the story. Also, there's just a straight up carelessness where you're wrapping up all the shit and you're just like, fuck it, fuck this. Because in the end, I'll make this up. We'll shoot it fucking live. We'll shoot it live. Where you're like, once I'm fucking in the captain's chair of this whole fucking case, once they finally put the spotlight on me, everyone's going to believe me. I'm going to set this whole thing straight.
Right.
But regardless of Jodi's motivations, the fact remains that putting the camera in the wash with the bloody towels raised gigantic red flags for investigators. So they dug in deep, recovered the photos that Jodi had deleted, and got a real good look at Jodi's butthole.
Whoa!
He really did. It is.
My goodness.
You don't need binoculars.
Wow, look at that.
You look right in there. I literally, you see a little pin light where I think her mouth is.
No kidding.
Even if the camera hadn't kept going off while the murder was happening, these photos were incriminating because they proved that Jodi had lied about being in Mesa on the day of the murder. But even without the pictures, based on the physical evidence alone, there still would have been enough evidence to prosecute and convict Jodi Arias.
If I'm Jodi Arias' defense attorney, I'm saying that's not her butthole. And then I have to say, Jodi, get on the stand, show us your butthole. Well, you'll notice she has a vertical butthole. And what we have here is a round butthole.
Unfortunately, her defense attorney, Kirk Wormy Nurmy, as they called him in the press, he wrote in his book, Trapped with Miss Arias, is that he actually wanted the jury to see the nude pictures, and she was pushing back and did not want anybody to see the nude pictures, but he wanted to show these pictures of your butthole are what shows the world that you didn't want these pictures of your butthole taken, but actually it's the opposite, because it's real easy to hide your butthole, because you could do it with pants.
Sure, you can.
There's a whole you could do it with a pillow, you could do it with a scarf, you could do it with a postage stamp. You literally could just cover just the butthole if you want.
Anything will cover a butthole. You can just see the one juror just coming in with a 12 pack and a bunch of KFC chicken, be like, "This is butthole day. This is butthole day. This is a great day to be a juror."
Good work, everybody. We made it. Number one day in jurors' history.
I don't know what it is, man, but I just think she's not guilty.
Well, at the time, Jodi didn't know the cops had any of this shit. And she even attended the memorial of the man she killed.
Oh my God, that must have been so uncomfortable for everyone.
Well, it's just it's just a perfect situation for her. She gets to show up in like a black veil. Mm-hmm. You know that it was her just going, I'm just beside myself. What could possibly happen? Meanwhile, everyone's like probably keeping 6 feet from her.
Oh, yeah.
Just like all looking at her. Meanwhile, she's going to Travis's body being like, why? Why? And just kissing his dead lips, being like, one more before he goes to heaven to see Moroni.
Yeah, all right.
Well, finally, he has his own planet now. That's the only thing he ever wanted.
I hope he does. I
don't know if he'll get one for how much space exploration he did to my butthole.
To your butthole. Great.
After the memorial was over and done with, though, Jodi was called in to Mesa PD and was asked to give fingerprints after, I don't know this for sure, but she was probably told, like, hey, you were Travis's lover. Your fingerprints are all over this bedroom, so we need your fingerprints in order to eliminate your fingerprints, because we need to make sure you're not guilty, lady.
Well, that's what she offered in the interrogation. She's like, I've lived in there for months, and I go in there all the time. My DNA should be all over that house, as if she was very excited how much her DNA he had. And she probably thought about that during their relationship while he was alive. She's like, at least some of my hairs are there.
And once those fingerprints were matched to the one found smack dab in the middle of the bloody palm print in Travis's bathroom hallway, Jodi Arias was arrested and charged 22 days after the murder.
Okay.
Now, during the investigation, Flores went hard on Jodi, asking her to tell the same story she told before about driving 100 miles in the wrong direction. And she did, except when she saw he wasn't buying it, she abruptly said, quote,
"Did I tell you I got stranded?"
It's just fucking boom. When she saw that the wheels were turning in his head, when he started talking, I was like, yeah, there's like 18 hours missing. She's like, oh, I got stranded. I forgot to tell you I got stranded for 18
You
hours.
forgot to tell me you were stranded for 18 hours.
It was crazy.
You just forgot that?
I was up a tree. I was in a nest.
You were in a nest.
For a period of time, yes, I was acting as if I was a bird, but that was to not to disturb the other birds.
Okay, so what were you eating? How did you stay alive?
Digested worms.
You were eating worms
I
in
let myself
a
be
nest.
fed. I was stranded.
You were stranded in a nest eating worms for 18 hours.
And some of those little birds were saying that they had a plan to murder Travis, my beloved boyfriend.
In rebuttal, Detective Flores first brought up the fingerprint Jodi had left, but she said that her fingerprints were probably in the bathroom because that's where she gave Travis's pug Napoleon a bath. So of course her fingerprints are everywhere. Then Flores told her that he had absolute proof that she was there, to which Jodi said, no, you don't. And that's when Detective Flores showed Jodi a photograph of her own butthole. Timestamped June 4th.
That's good. That's a heavy time because she did.
Damn, I didn't know you had butthole footage. If you would have told me you had butthole footage, I would have changed this entire story.
She does this. It's a very interesting acting job because it's like, what if I told you I had pictures that you were there? And she's like, that is something that I wouldn't necessarily believe that you would have. And he's like, well, let me just show you some pictures. Show one picture of just Travis. And she's like, that's Travis. And she's just like, yes, so. And she's like, and this is another picture of Travis. This is a picture of you nude in pigtails, front, face forward. And she was like, that looks like me.
Yeah.
She said that, which is an interesting defense. And then he's like, and then there's this picture. And he shows a picture of her own butthole and vagina. And she just looks at it and she goes, wow.
We'll call this Exhibit A and B for ass and butthole.
Thank you, Kissel.
Well, at one point she started sobbing, and she said, like, if Travis were here today, he'd tell you that that's not my butthole. That's somebody else's butthole. Travis would tell you.
He'd tell you.
It is never a good day when you're in court crying, looking at a picture of your own butthole. That's like one of those where it's like, how did I get here? I wonder what happened. How did I end up in court crying, looking at my own butthole?
She also does this move that we'll see in the trial as well, where she puts her forehead on the table with her hands covering her forehead, making crying noises, only to emerge and see no tears there.
Oh, my God.
You see this again and again, that she does this move where she doesn't want, she goes, and then she gets up and looks forward and just see no tears, just like straight face.
Instead of owning up, Jodi claimed that someone had to have switched the memory cards, or Travis had to have been sleeping with a woman who looked exactly like me, or you cops have probably photoshopped my face on someone else's body.
And it's like, lady, do you know how cops work? They are very lazy.
Yes, that is not happening. You photoshopped my face on somebody else's butthole, and I know it.
But Flores, he wasn't budging either. And he told Jodi that, hey, this is pretty much the most amount of evidence I've ever had on a murder case in all the years on the force.
Oh, my God.
Eventually, Jodi accepted she was being arrested, but instead of asking for a lawyer, she said, I know it's really shallow to ask, but would it be possible if I could clean myself up before I take my mugshot?
Well, you want to have a nice mugshot, I guess. She knew she was going to be famous, I suppose.
It's weird, though, because if this was any other story, it might not have been. She saw an opportunity to become famous. It's almost the opposite, where if she had not done all the flagrant behavior that she will continue to do throughout all of this trial, this might just be another blip. Like if she had just been kind of like a quote-unquote normal inmate, but that first mugshot of her smiling, clear-faced.
That's creepy.
It's weird.
Well, I think it's very telling that when she was able to make her first phone call, she called her parents. She didn't ask for a lawyer. The first thing she did was to ask her parents to Google her name.
Wow.
When Flores told her, like, no, you can't, go and clean yourself up, I'll be right back, he left the room. She was still concerned about her image and could barely be heard on tape talking to herself, saying, quote,
You should have at least done your makeup, Jodi. Gosh.
Yeah, Jodi, you should have. You look fucking ugly as shit.
Who are you? Who's speaking to me?
I'm Travis.
Travis. All right, well, let me give you a mouth hug and you'll feel all better. That's what she calls it all the time in text.
Mouth hugs?
Come over and I'll give you a mouth hug.
Yuck. And with any luck, you'll take a picture of my butthole.
I mean, honestly, consenting adults can take as many pictures of their buttholes as they want.
No, it's the murder is the problem, Henry.
And then, while waiting for Flores to come back, she absent-mindedly played with the water bottle on the table in front of her and started singing a Dido song.
Breathe. I wonder how am I still here. And I don't wanna know who's away. It might change my memory. And I won't go. And I can't breathe until you're resting here with me. And I won't go. And I can't hide.
That is freaking horrifying. That is like the scariest damn thing I have ever heard in my life.
It's fucking awful. Like she's just playing with this water bottle. Like she turns very childlike in this moment.
Can you imagine being Dido, though? This is why no one should ever create anything. Because at some point, it's just going to be sung by a lunatic. It reminds me of, what was it, Chapman, of course, with Mr. Lennon.
Oh, like, yeah. But that's, again, it's inspiring.
Yeah, but I mean, if you'll remember, it wasn't Lennon that had to deal with that stink. It was Todd Rundgren.
Yeah,
Rundgren, that's right.
Well, after a couple of minutes of sitting in silence, Jodi started farting around the room like a little kid, doing a handstand against the wall for 30 seconds after she rummaged through the garbage can behind her.
Wow.
Then she spent a little while smelling her hair before singing again, this time going for A Christmas Carol in June.
Holy night. The stars are brightly shining. This is the day of our dear Savior's home.
It does kind of put you in the Christmas spirit, though, doesn't it?
It does. There's something about the childlike aspect of her personality because it shows that in her mind, a little bit, all of this was going to be cleared up.
Yeah.
This was just her hanging out. They're going to go in and say, you obviously didn't do this. You're too cute.
Right. You
Literally,
sing too well.
You are just, there's no way a little girl would ever do this. She was playing on this concept in my mind.
Yeah.
And that now she's left to her own devices. And we kind of see this sort of, like a kid waiting for her parents to fucking come out of the store, like that bullshit, like this kind of childlike time-killing activity that it's a defense mechanism. It's obviously her showing being like, I don't care because I'm obviously not guilty of this crime and no one's going to pin this on me.
I wonder if she knew she was on, closed-circuit television. Was this performative? Or was this like, do you think she would have done this with a camera or without a camera?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because you have to know you're being monitored in there. There has to be a camera. I mean, you have to be able to see it.
On some level, yes. I mean, I feel like we know because we've watched a lot of security cam footage, but I don't think that she necessarily knew. So that's why it's interesting.
Right.
Because it seems like she's doing this. I think she might not have known.
Yeah, I don't think she did.
This was something else. This is an interior thing where it was self-calming. The singing was self-calming activity, and then the rest of it was just to show how little she was concerned with what was happening.
Now, after all of this evidence was presented to Jodi, it became very obvious that she'd need a story that placed her at the scene but absolved her of responsibility. If she wanted to avoid the death penalty, because this is fucking Arizona after all.
Right. So this is going to be a tricky tale she'll have to spin here.
So when Detective Flores brought her in again almost 3 weeks later, she'd had plenty of time to think of another story, and in the tradition of Casey Anthony, This one was a cinematic whopper on par with the most cliche of crime dramas. She said that what had actually happened was that she had taken a 400-mile detour on her way to the prepaid legal conference in Salt Lake City to see Travis after he called begging for her to come.
Sure.
Okay.
And she also added, like, I declined at first, but he was so insistent that I ended up relenting and going.
And then you look at the text, and it was just her being like, I can always pop in and see you in Mesa. And
Right.
Travis was like, nah, it's cool if you don't. Like, it's like, are you like don't?
Yeah.
Like, don't come?
She said she showed up in Mesa at 4 a.m. and slept until 1 p.m., at which point they had sex and took all the nude photos. At around 5, Jodi said she suggested taking more pictures of Travis in the shower, but after she started, he wanted to stop because, in his words, quote, I feel gay. And that's why that was her explanation for why he looked like he did in the shower. That look that's on his face that we talked about last episode is because he said that he felt gay.
Meanwhile,
was it because he was staring at her butthole?
I mean, I just don't really understand because you just had sex with a lady. That's the opposite.
Well, he probably didn't say that.
No, he definitely didn't say that because it doesn't make any sense.
But as Jodi was telling Detective Flores the story, she suddenly stopped, put her hand over her mouth, and wept. And here's where the doozy begins. Well, she said that she was looking through the photos she'd taken of Travis in the shower when she heard a bang just before she was knocked to the floor. She then looked over at Travis and saw that he was bleeding from a gunshot wound to the head. And when she turned around, she saw a man and a woman wearing ski masks, gloves, and long-sleeved black shirts. She said she got up and tried running for the closet to hide, but the man with the gun grabbed her and held the gun to her head while the woman walked over to Travis and stabbed him over and over and over again. Now, of course, Jodi couldn't help but make herself the tiniest bit of a hero in her own story. So she said she broke free from the dude somehow, ran down the hallway, and charged the woman so hard the assailant was knocked off her feet. She said she then grabbed Travis's arm and started pulling him up so they could run. Come on, Travis, let's go, let's go. But Travis told her, I can't feel my legs, I can't feel my legs. And at that point, the devious duo reappeared. And when the woman went to stab Jodi, the man stopped her, saying, quote,
That's not why we're here.
He then grabbed her purse, found her ID, and supposedly said, quote,
You're that bitch from California. If you ever say anything about this, we'll do your family the same way.
He then told her to leave, so she grabbed her purse and fled without calling the police or any of Travis's friends.
Oh, just in time to make it to the prepaid legal.
She said specifically that it was like The Sopranos, which seems to me, in my mind, means that's where she got the idea from.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
There was one attorney that talked about the story symbolically. There is an almost Jungian unconscious level to this story where she projected two versions of her personality into reality. That she told this an allegory over her own inner struggle as she was murdering Travis, and she projected it, which is why it allowed her to have what she believed to be a semblance of truth-telling behind her own voice. We're true, like, pathological liars. There is a weird emotional center to the lie that you're saying because you indeed felt the push and pull of those two ninjas that you have created in your mind.
Right.
You have created
Well, that
these
happens
ideas.
all the time in Mesa. There was a massive spat of ninja home invasions. I remember that.
This is a paid ad by BetterHelp. You know, stigma shows up in a lot of different places. I know I had to explain to my handyman about the devil imagery in my home. I had to explain that in our home, El Diablo es bueno. And he reluctantly agreed. I think largely just because he was in my home and he was scared. But over time, he began to see, the devil can be my amigo. See, even in 2026, stigma can get in the way of a lot of things, right? My handyman almost didn't put up my floating media cabinet, right? You gotta get support for your mental health. Maybe you've encouraged friends to consider therapy while avoiding taking the first step yourself because you're busy, worried what others will think, or telling yourself you should handle it alone. No, you need a team. Get therapy with BetterHelp, the world's largest online therapy platform. Give me a space to slow down and talk through what's building before it feels unmanageable. Says take a short questionnaire to identify your needs and preferences, and BetterHelp will handle the initial therapist matching work for you. Their industry-leading match rate means BetterHelp typically gets it right the first time. Feel confident knowing BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of ethics and are fully qualified. So don't let hesitation hold you back. Find support with BetterHelp. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/lastpod. That's betterhelp.com/lastpod.
Hey there, everybody. Is your cell phone bill too much money? Are you getting that bill and you're like, hey, what is this? I can't believe for what? For 5G? Are you crazy right now? $100? I don't even barely got any bars when I'm just sitting in my living room, okay? You don't have to deal with that anymore. Are you ready for this? $15 a month. That's right, $15 a month on Mint Mobile. Yeah, baby. Get their wireless plan, because they're just sitting there on the T-Mobile 5G network, and it's just $15. Your whole life, you're just paying all this money every month. You're like, why? Where's it going? It's going to these phone companies that are robbing you. So go to Mint Mobile. Let them help you talk to your mom. So get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month. Go to mintmobile.com/LPOTL. That's mintmobile.com/LPOTL. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/LPOTL. That's it. There's no catch. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, $180 for 12 months. Plan required, $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when the network is busy. Includes up to 20 gigabytes hotspot. Capable device required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com.
One sunny day, a honeybee was merrily buzzing through an orchard when she stopped to collect nectar from a mystery apple blossom. She passed that pollen along to a Honeycrisp tree, and months later, the sugar bee apple was born. Naturally sweet, with layered notes of caramel, honey, molasses, and the perfect crunch. The world has embraced the sugar bee apple, a pure delight for snacking and baking. Download our new free recipe book and find a store near you at hellosugarbee.com. Sugar bee apples, from bee to you.
Now, besides the fact that all of this negates even the simplest of Jodi's alibis, including the eerily calm voicemail message left that night and the emails and the texts that she sent in the days that followed, it was also totally implausible. It was a stupid fucking story.
Yes, it was.
But Jodi stuck with it for about 2 years and even wrote an 18-page letter to Travis's poor old Mormon grandmother, outlining both her relationship to Travis and his brutal murder at the hands of 2 mysterious acquaintances.
P.S. Here's a picture of my butthole.
Oh, this is wonderful. The last time I saw my butthole, I was falling down the stairs. Jodi, we're going to see, is a bit of a propaganda minister of her own stories. And this starts, she kind of has this sort of culture war, to use Civ 6 metaphors. She's using radiating culture to get other people, trying to convert people to her side.
But in the letter, she added a couple of dramatic details, saying that actually the man had pulled the trigger when the gun was to my head, but it misfired. And actually, the woman had stomped on my bare feet, but I heroically ignored it. Soon after her arrest, though, Jodi found herself to be, as she figured she would be, the next hot American crime story in a country that was about to reignite its love of true crime after it sort of got burnt out on the whole thing after O.J. Simpson. Now, I didn't realize this, but while both murders occurred in 2008, Jodi Arias actually murdered Travis Alexander 6 months before Casey Anthony murdered her daughter. And if you want to look for the beginning of the current national true crime boom, I think you have no further to look than these 2 cases coming right together.
Absolutely. Nancy Grace's involvement in both, her inability to say the word digital. How many times she says the digital pictures.
Oh, that's a cute little way to say it, though.
Immediately, Jodi tried controlling the narrative concerning the story by doing as many television interviews as she could, which is a defense lawyer's absolute worst nightmare.
Yeah, according to Wormy Nermy, that was the first thing he just did when he was staking her out before meeting her for the first time. It's like he could tell that she started doing these TV interviews, obviously against all advice.
Right.
And so he's like, oh, this is going to be a person that is difficult to work with.
What about shielding yourself with fame? Where it's like you make yourself famous and then, you know.
I mean, we'll see. It worked for Casey Anthony,
Yeah, exactly.
but it does not work in this case.
But Casey Anthony never gave an interview.
No, Casey Anthony was technically more devious.
Yeah. Casey Anthony was technically a lot smarter, and that's why she got off.
Oh, my goodness. And no pictures of her butthole.
None that I can find.
No. Hustler was
And
going
I've
to pay
been
her.
scouring and scouring and scouring and scouring.
She never said yes to the Hustler deal. They were going to give her $500K to show her butthole. She didn't do it.
Well, and all you do is pee on your ankles.
Well, in Arias' first interview, she maintained her innocence while slowly chipping away at Travis's credibility. Because after all, if every single one of Travis's friends say that Jodi's an awful obsessive psychopath, then she had no choice but to counter with the claim that Travis had secretly been a terrible person the whole time. For example, she didn't mention the intruders at all in her first interview. Instead, over a terribly boring 20 minutes, she talked about her relationship with Travis, his obsession with her, and how much she loved photography. She is such a boring fucking person. God
But
damn.
you also see that it was before she thought the cameras were on, asking for makeup again.
Yeah.
Doing the thing where being like, can I freshen up? And they brought her makeup and they filmed the whole thing as she's laughing and smiling. And this is before she even tells the first round of the story. This is her just being like, Travis was he just had so much blood that I think some of it just popped out of it.
It just popped out. Yeah.
But the next interview was with Inside Edition, the first big national piece on the crime. And Jodi went all in when it came to the intruder story, which we can hear in a thankfully edited version of her tale.
What really happened in there?
In a nutshell, 2 people took Travis's life, 2 monsters.
You did not shoot Travis.
No, I've never even shot a real gun.
You did not stab him 27 times.
No, that's heinous.
Or
I've never.
slit his throat from ear to ear.
I can't imagine slitting anyone's throat. No jury is going to convict me
Why not?
because I'm innocent, and you can mark my words on that one. No jury will convict me.
Yikes.
If you ever have to utter the sentence, I did not slit his throat, I did not slit it ear to ear, it's like something went wrong.
So, yeah.
I don't know if you did or you didn't, but something went horribly wrong in your life.
Now, Jodi's main adversary during the trial was tiny attorney Juan Martinez.
He's not that tiny. He just can't wear a proper suit. It's just everyone keeps calling him a tiny attorney. It's the whole thing. But it's just his suit does not fit well.
That'll make him look like a tiny attorney. It's really nice here. As you can tell, my defense attorney Dorf on lawyers. Oh, little Dorf. Conway. Tim Conway.
Well, Juan Martinez, he had an extremely high conviction rate. I mean, he had 300 cases under his belt, and he won the majority of them.
He's a very aggressive prosecutor, and he was known for being very, very aggressive.
Okay.
Maybe something to do with the fact that everybody kept calling him tiny. So that's why he's got extra irate. It seems to happen to smaller people.
As far as who Jodi's attorney was, she was saddled with the unfortunately named Kirk Nermy, a tall and rotund public defender who was court-ordered to represent Arias even after he had quit because he was starting his own private practice.
He was trying to get out of this case for a long time.
Yeah.
According to him, he was trying to get out of this case for a long time. But I don't know why. It
sounds like a nightmare.
It was at the very beginning because he didn't realize how high profile it was going to be. According to him in the book, it started as this like run of the mill thing, and then he watched the Inside Edition, and he was like, "Oh no, this is actually going to be very difficult."
I want if you're a defense attorney out there, sidestorieslpotl@gmail.com, what do you do when you know the person you're defending is guilty?
He says in his book, this is the first time I really saw the defense attorneys the other side. But correct me if I'm wrong, defense attorneys that are listeners. But he said when you get handed a capital trial, that in his purview and what they were talking about in terms of the state, the goal for the defense is just to save the defendant's life.
Okay.
That they are just trying to not get her killed on the electric chair. And so they're looking for a first-degree murderer. They know that they are, more often than not, they're going to be convicted of the crime that they're up against. But they're just trying to keep them from the chair.
Sure.
Now, around the time that Jodi's upcoming trial started getting national attention, an ex-boyfriend named Matt McCartney came bounding out of the past to either take another shot at love or to capitalize on Jodi's newfound fame.
I'm here, Jodi, and also, here's a dove.
Whoa!
You brought this all the way through security?
Existing in Jodi's life between the gas station vampire and the 40-year-old chain-smoking alcoholic, Matt McCartney was a practicing magician who became Jodi's most ardent supporter, of which there were many. And when I say practicing magician, I mean like chaos magician. He did rituals and all that sort of shit.
Oh, okay.
He was the gas station vampire's roommate, and when they moved, and then when they moved to a different town and Jodi moved with them, she started dating Matt McCartney, which of course the gas station vampire didn't like, and you know, the whole thing blew up.
Oh my goodness, what a fight.
You could see how she traded one drama for the next, where she was just kind of got like a little too sophisticated for Matt McCartney and this other guy, because now she's like dating this big, upwardly mobile dude over at Prepaid Legal, who's a motivational speaker, and she's the one, she'd already decided that's my husband. These were her two, because she had her own little legion of fuckboys as well, not as thorough as Travis, because you'll find out that throughout this whole conversation, well, after they had broken up, Travis was sexting with like 4 people. It wasn't just her.
Right.
She kept shit pretty tight, but she'd use them piece by piece. She would use them as her little collection of ghouls.
I mean, there's nothing more motivational than being a vampire gas station worker than being a gas station vampire. That man's very motivational in his own way.
But think about it, gas station vampire, and then you have a technically convenience store magician.
Yeah.
Next door, it's one roommate. That's the whole fucking strip mall version of Fantasia.
Sounds like a fun town to me.
Now, concerning Jodi's supporters, she wasn't getting much traction or support with the intruder story. And besides, I'm willing to bet that Kirk Nurmi pointed out the numerous holes in Jodi's first narrative that would have easily sunk the whole case as soon as it went to trial. Right. So, Jodi changed tact completely, admitting that she had in fact killed Travis Alexander, but had done so because Travis was supposedly a physically and sexually abusive Mormon monster.
Oh.
She said the reason why she kept her involvement in the murder a secret for 2 years was because she loved Travis and she'd invented the intruder story to protect his reputation as a nice Mormon boy.
Oh my God, thank you so much. That's so sweet of you to do that.
It is interesting to see her tactics change with him, because Kirk Nurmi they were talking about, because that is true, because their first meeting was like, Wormy Nurmi was like, this is all bullshit. And she's just like, no, it's not. Yeah. And then they had to piece together this other story, because then Kirk Nurmi, for some reason in the book, hits her with this kind of, he looked at her and he said, you appear to be a textbook victim of sexual assault. He had this whole thing where we're going to start building this story of what your parents did to abuse you.
Like what Casey Anthony did with her parents.
Yes, and we're going to start with the parents, because he started the whole story. But then she's like, but actually maybe it's because Travis used to hand me too. and he's now he's like, okay, that's something I can maybe work with here.
Right, sure.
So once Jodi decided to further destroy a man, even after she'd killed him, the smear campaign began. In the summer of 2010, 2 years after the murder and 2 years before the trial, Kirk Nurmi received an anonymous email full of handwritten letters, supposedly in Travis's hand. These letters, supposedly sent both to Jodi and other people, were presented as Travis's confessions to what else but pedophilia, physical abuse, and sexual deviance, conveniently outlined in the clearest manner possible.
Could have done without that. Thank you. You've already stabbed me 30 times.
You know what I've noticed about pedophiles too, that are Mormons and are like deeply like have a whole business establishment and all based upon their reputation? They always like to put it in writing.
Always like it.
They really like to tell everybody explicitly all of their most dirty fantasies and why, and openly, and they love to send letters to their parents and to their supposedly like adoptive Mormon parents about it as well.
Pedophiles don't hide in the dark.
They really don't.
No.
They're very
open
proud.
They brag about it. Yeah.
In the Jodi letters, Travis allegedly owned up to hitting her in the face and asking her to wear little boys' briefs during sex, all while saying that he believed that marrying Jodi was the only way to erase his deviant urges.
It's truthfully, I mean, dog meat, you can talk shit about this all the time, but that's the ultimate way to stop being a pedophile is to marry a woman.
Sure.
But Jodi wasn't the only recipient of these so-called confessions. Travis also supposedly sent letters to Chris and Sky Hughes, who had originally been host to Jodi and Travis's relationship, to tell them that he could easily molest Chris and Sky's child.
You always brag.
You always do that.
Because that's how it is, being like, your kid, let me tell you this, your kid wants to be molested so bad, I might as well have just come over there with a little stool for him to get up to my dick. Wow. And you're like, whoa, why did you send this?
Thanks for the letter.
Now, the individual words were taken from Travis's old journals that Jodi had stolen at an earlier date. And a handwriting expert surmised that Jodi had meticulously cut out and rearranged the words to make Travis sound like a pedophilic sexual monster.
And this is a part of, to this day, a very deep world of Jodi Arias conspiracy theories that say that the Mormon-run cops are the reason why these letters were not allowed to be introduced to the court, nor as evidence. But if you look at it, they had two reasons why not to believe it. Number one, they found a sample of Travis's handwriting in Jodi's cell, and examples of her trying to copy his handwriting over and over again. And again, this also came from a series of goons that Jodi had. The way to describe it, it's really strange. She used to get magazines from the commissary and then write secret messages in the like next to the articles. Like she'd write these like little bits of words that would formulate a sentence as you flip through the magazine.
Okay.
And she'd send it out through jail to various, mostly men, that had crushes on her from jail and watching her on the news. So we're writing letters and saying like, how can I help? What can I do? And they're like, she organized all of this shit from within jail like the fucking Godfather. Send the people come and put false evidence into play from the outside.
Damn, all right.
She's fucking cold.
Yeah, actually, we do have one of those messages that she sent out that was put together out of, 5 or 6, maybe 7 different magazines. This was to Matt McCartney. This was to her ex-boyfriend.
You fucked up. What you told my attorney the next day directly contradicts what I've been saying for over a year. Get down here ASAP, see me before you talk to them again and before you testify so we can fix this. Interview was excellent. Must talk ASAP.
Oh my
Bye.
God.
Bye.
But I mean, there's no way that she would talk to Matt without being recorded, right?
Yeah.
Because she would be doing this in jail.
Yeah, man.
Does
they
she
found
know
the
all of
magazines.
this?
It's weird. Again, I'm going to use the term, Robert Anton Wilson term, reality tunnel. She is in a tunnel of this. She believes that no matter what, as long as she feels validated on the inside of why because she's always like, she's in this mental game. She's trying to figure out how can I feel okay with the shit that I did and what's going on. I have to validate it deep inside so hard that I believe my own bullshit. So
right.
In a way, all of this stuff is almost done, I want to say like, it's almost like automatic writing, where it's so deeply compartmentalized that she just is doing this shit. It's like the right hand's doing all of this shit and pumping it out while the left hand and her face are doing all this other bullshit that are saying the opposite.
And this isn't the only weird shit that was going on while Jodi was in prison waiting for trial. Remember, all this happened in Mesa, Arizona. And back in 2010, Mesa was still under the rule of the infamous fascist Sheriff Joe Arpaio, who, as we all know, Joe loved making a splash when it came to the treatment of inmates.
Yes, he did.
Now, most of the time, Joe kept it to just plain torture, forcing inmates and undocumented immigrants to live in tents in 130-degree heat in between forced chained marches through the desert, wearing nothing but pink underwear and flip-flops. But when it came to Christmas 2010 and a high-profile inmate, Arpaio tried the other end of the spectacle spectrum and dressed up his detention officers as a bunch of Santa Clauses and organized a talent show with the female prisoners that had a top prize of a turkey dinner and a stocking full of presents.
That's a pretty sweet top prize, to be fair.
I mean, I want a turkey dinner.
Yeah, turkey dinner, very good. Tryptophan's a lie, by the way. It doesn't make you tired. I mean, tryptophan's not a lie. The idea that it makes you tired is a lie.
Yeah, I think it's about the amount of food that you eat on Thanksgiving is what makes you tired.
It's all the whiskey.
When it was all said and done, Jodi Arias had beaten 50 other inmates by singing the same song she'd sung in the interrogation room when she was first faced with all the evidence that she had, in fact, murdered Travis Alexander. And the whole thing was caught on tape.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared.
You can just see all the judges turn around in their chair, just being like, I think you're it. Bow. Bow. Wow. Bow. That's a no for me, dog.
A new and glorious morn.
All right.
Get out of here.
Wow. Shut up. Get out. I thought you were going to do the butthole trick. You're just singing? Okay.
Honestly, it would be incredible if she had bent over in front of the microphone singing the song, and then if her butthole moved to the words of A Holy Night, because it would be really fun. It plays on the word holy as well.
She's getting punny with it. That's not sexual. That's a pun joke.
That's satire.
And when the trial first got raring to go, Jodi tried, like many narcissists do, to represent herself. But her complete lack of experience meant that she was stuck with Wormy Nermy, and he was stuck with her.
He hated working with Jodi Arias.
I'm
the way
sure.
he spoke about it, I mean, who knows at the time, because he said the first thing that she tried to do, her first tactic was to be flirty with him, right? And what we know about Casey Anthony is that Casey Anthony had the same track with her defense attorney, but it worked. She really was seducing him, and that's the reason why, I think it's also part of the reason why she got off, because he was working really hard to try to see to Chooch, because he needed to see to Chooch, and he would do anything possible.
Right.
But Kirk Nermy, he hated all this shit. But one chapter of this book, again, don't read the book. He wrote 3 books. Each one is 300 pages long. And in one chapter, he talks about digging up and trying to find all of the people that Jodi was sending messages through magazines. And then it goes into this part. He's like, but that's not the only story about Las Vegas I have. I was getting close with a particular coworker named Jennifer, who was married, but she never invited her husband along on trips. And I tell you, I took that as a message. So Jennifer, she actually invited me to go to an Air Supply concert. And I'll tell you this, Air Supply is one of those bands that people, no one will admit to being a fan of. But I tell you what, you go to see one of those concerts, and you're transported to a place that only Air Supply can take you to. And I was there, and it's this long breakdown of how great Air Supply is and how fun Jennifer was. But Jennifer was married, and him and Jennifer could never really, even though she was sending him signals, or he thought she was sending him signals, but now he knows that they are happily married, and he needed to look on himself and wonder why he was looking for signals from a married woman.
Absolutely, Wormy Nermy. Happy you put that in a book about Jodi Arias.
Well, when the trial finally got started, 4 years after the murder, it became obvious that both the defense and the prosecution were going to make sex a central piece of their argument. For the prosecution, this was about good sex gone bad, a tale of revenge, jealousy, and obsession that ended in murder.
Murder.
For the defense, it was about an easily manipulated, poor little girl who was forced into regular oral and anal sex because her Mormon beau believed that the mouth and the butthole were less sinful orifices than the vagina.
See, I feel more sins come out of the mouth than any other hole.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The defense claimed in open court that on the day of the murder, Travis had forced Jodi to drive all the way to Mesa, then had forced her to take the photos before forcing her into anal sex while she leaned over his desk, which ended in him ejaculating on her back. All said in open court.
God, spicy shit.
This is why I brought the beer.
Again, juror number 7, we're going to have to take these beers from you.
Yeah. Take them out of my cock because I already drank them.
This is the only jury we could find. This is the only man that said that he believed Jodi Arias could be innocent.
I'm the most sober man in Mesa.
Then, while she was later taking photos in the shower at Travis's request because he was in, quote, peak physical condition for Cancun.
Gotta memorialize it.
It's the nicest thing she said about him.
She acts well. That's what he told her. He's like, I'm in peak physical condition, babe. I'm fucking looking the best I ever look. Take some pictures of me.
I got pumped before the pictures. Let me do a couple sit-ups. All right, T-Dog's ready. T-Dog's camera ready. Let's take a look at it.
Well, she said that after taking the picture, she accidentally dropped the camera, which sent Travis into an uncontrollable rage that Jodi made it sound like was a common occurrence. She said he picked her up and body slammed her, and going off instinct, she claimed to have run for the gun that she said Travis kept in his closet, which just so happened to be the same type of .25 caliber pistol that had been stolen from her grandfather.
Coincidence?
Indeed.
She said that when she pointed the gun at Travis, she didn't mean to shoot, but the gun just went off, and that's when her memory went foggy. She said she had no memory of stabbing him almost 30 times and no memory of slicing his throat ear to ear. She said what snapped her out of the fog was the clink of the knife hitting the floor, and when she saw what she'd done, she screamed. Next thing she knew, she was driving west, barefoot and covered in blood, with no memory of how she got there.
That, I think, is the truest thing she said so far.
You can just see her talking to the jury. They'll just be like, did you know guns, they have this trigger, and if you pull it, the bullet just comes out?
And they're all
Who
like,
knew that? The bullet comes out if you pull the
This
trigger.
is fucking Mesa, Arizona. We all knew that. We all have guns, and the entire crowd pulls out guns, AK-47s out of a woman's babushka and shit.
Now, in and of itself, this case would be interesting even without the raunchy details. But what made this case a national obsession was the wildly explicit testimony that seemed to be a daily fixture of the Jodi Arias trial. In trying to establish that Travis was a deviant, Kirk Nurmi used dirty text messages in his cross-examination of Detective Flores, noting that Travis often called Jodi a, quote, three-hole wonder.
But he only ever called her, they used the three-hole wonder statement a lot, but he only called her a three-hole wonder the one time.
It's also, isn't that the last hole in a mini golf course?
I didn't know that she genetically had a windmill and built in front of her pussy.
No kidding. Keeps it nice and dry.
But Detective Flores fired right back, using an example of a communication Travis made in which he felt Jodi was the one using him sexually, making him feel like, quote, little more than a dildo with a heartbeat.
That's where he was gaslighting her, though. There was a period of time where you can see in these emails, he does obviously lead her on. Like, he keeps engaging, even though she, as we said last episode, she's a habitual fucking line stepper. She keeps doing all of this fucked up shit. He also keeps going back. He's sending late night sex. He's saying all of this stuff about how you're God's perfect whore. I'm going to use you like the genetically built slut that you are. And she's going, I'm going to go. I can't wait to see you tonight. And you're going to shoot a fat, juicy load all over my face. Do you promise? And he's just like, yeah.
All right. Well, there's nothing wrong with sexting someone you're having sex with every now and again.
But the thing is that she was doing all of this other fucked up behavior, like breaking into his Facebook, slashing his tires, breaking into his house, stealing money, doing all of this bullshit. But apparently, one weird thing that I didn't know was that Travis actually had a lot less money than he thought he is. He'd lost a bunch of money.
He had,
and was actually borrowing some money from Jodi too, that she was kind of holding over him, because at first he was bankrolling her, and then she had to give him some money, and then as soon as she started giving him money, that's when things started getting like dark.
Yeah, sounds like he's in a very abusive relationship.
Yeah, it was all fucked up.
Well, during the trial, they even got into Travis's sexual history with other women, bringing in the Kevin Costner-loving ex-girlfriend to admit that her claim that Travis was a sex maniac came from her own childlike understanding of how and why a penis became tumescent. Because you had
Tumescent.
Juan Martinez up there going, it's like, now, you didn't understand how a penis becomes tumescent, gets big. Gets real big.
Gets big. Yeah, and Tiny Attorney, because it's like, imagine me. Imagine my penis is about half as tall as I am. So looking at a foot and a half.
Uh-huh.
And she went, it does get big. It does, and it's like a rageful big. What I don't like about a penis is that why can't it just be small? Why does it always have to get so big? And you're like, sometimes it doesn't get that big.
These people are very immature in many ways, it seems.
Oh, well, they live in the Mormon bubble. You know,
Yeah, of course.
that's something that is very, very real, that a lot of these Mormons live in they live in a world outside of the one that we live in. You know,
Right.
it's very innocent, it's very safe, but it's not real.
Air quotes, because that's the problem, is that what you find out is that when you create a constant fake exterior of bland normalcy that often serves as a smokescreen for abuse and all of this other bullshit within the world of the Mormon community. So that's the lack of sex education within the community becomes weaponized. If there's a way for it to do, because then what you do is when you have people that are willfully manipulating the rules on their own because they maybe have higher standings within the church. You look at this poor woman thought that Travis could just make his hard penis go away.
I heard it was full of Skittles.
Oh, taste the rainbow.
Ooh.
The piece de resistance of the whole trial, though, was the fact that Jodi Arias herself testified in her own defense, which rarely happens even in trials dealing with much smaller offenses, much less trials involving a fucking capital murder charge. You never put a capital murder suspect on the fucking stand.
You're putting a murderer in a chair in front of everybody, and then you wonder how it's going to work out.
An accused murderer.
But she was already saying she did it.
Yeah, the defense was that she was a murderer, but she murdered for good reason.
Big if true. Did she drop any of that?
She did.
You got to drop some big if trues.
She did do that.
Well, that's big if true. Yeah.
Well,
It is true.
Yeah.
That's why it's big. Are we still talking about boners? I have to go.
I hate the word tumescent.
Oh, I hate it. Oh, no. My magic underwears are getting all wet.
Well, Jodi insisted that she had to tell her story her way. So she spent a nearly unprecedented 18 days on the stand, smearing Travis and listing every sexual thing they ever did while framing all of it in the most criminal light possible.
Just the constant cuts to Travis Alexander's parents as they just try to be stone-faced. As she's like, and that was the second time we had anal sex. And I knew that he enjoyed it because of his groans and his grunts on me. And then some of his ejaculations were just, the only way I would describe it, were just so ropey that I felt like I was a toaster strudel.
Yeah. Well, I'm just so happy you're taking the stand there, Jodi. Juror number 7, can you stop masturbating, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just listening.
Thank you.
But what I loved was she has her whole beginning layout where Kirk Nurmi and her are telling her whole story. Then Juan Martinez comes out, tiny lawyer, so upset. The first thing he does is he shows a picture, and he's just like, let me ask you, Miss Arias, is this a picture of you and your dumb sister? And she's like, what? And she's like, your dumb sister. And she's like, what are you saying to me? You yourself, you categorized your own sister as dumb, didn't you, in this email where you said, I'm off doing this trip with my dumb sister. So wouldn't you concur that this is your dumb sister? He comes in fucking hard. And she's the most obnoxious person on the fucking
What about the sister that's just sitting there? I don't firmly understand how people can sit. Like, I feel so bad for Travis's parents. Yeah. I don't think that I could sit there. I really, like, you watch those videos.
Watch it. You should try to sit and watch it.
I watched some of it on YouTube.
Watching 3 hours total, I was like, my eyeballs are gonna fall out of my fucking head.
I don't see how. I mean, you see those videos sometimes, especially if like a pedophile or something is being charged and the parents are there. Like, I get it when they jump over the fucking shit
I would flip
and
out.
Start like going nuts.
Yeah,
I'd
like, flip out.
I don't know if I could. Honestly, I don't think I could sit there for 18 days and watch this chick who I know killed my son.
I'd flip out.
Well, the story Jodi told was that she'd been put upon sexually from the very beginning, from the moment Travis met her at a Starbucks, gave her a copy of the Book of Mormon, and followed it up with a request for oral sex.
Damn.
In her version of the relationship, Travis forced her into anal sex the day of her baptism because only traditional intercourse was a sin.
Which we've learned that is not true.
Apparently not.
After that, it was sex on the hood of the car, sex with Travis while he wore designer suits, and sex with Jodi dressed as a schoolgirl. All of which probably happened.
Sure.
But she's painting it in this light of, he made me do it. He made me do all this. Then there were the text messages Travis sent, like this one, quote,
"You'll rejoice in being a whore. That sole purpose in life is to be mine, to have animalistic sex with, and to please me in any way I desire."
Yeah, can we have sex like lemurs? I've always wanted to have sex like a lemur. How do they have sex?
Well, the weirdest thing they did was when Travis used one of those big-ass Tootsie Rolls as a dildo until it melted into Jodi's vagina.
No, that is going to cause some medical condition.
You don't put any sugar into pussy.
Oh, my goodness.
And that happened. It came up during the recorded phone sex conversation where he's like, remember when I used the Tootsie Roll on you?
Just cut to his roommates, just be like, man, your Tootsie Roll tastes a little weird, man. Like, what the hell's going on here?
Honestly, I love these new Tootsie Rolls. I love them so much. There's something familiar about them.
Yeah?
But the interesting thing about that taped phone conversation is that both sides used it to bolster their arguments. The defense used it as an example of Travis's deviance, particularly his statements that Jodi sounded like a 12-year-old girl having her first orgasm, in addition to his fantasy of tying her to a tree and, quote, putting it in her ass all the way.
Now, I will say, after he came, when we had to listen to that entire sex tape, right?
Yeah.
When you're sitting in court and you just listen to it and you hear her going, oi, 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 and like super fake orgasm, and you hear him go, oh, right? And he finally shoots it. And when he says, oh, you sounded like a 12-year-old girl having her first orgasm, I know that that's really very disgusting.
Yes,
and it's
of
very,
course.
very bad. But it does sound like she was building this fantasy from within, and that they were going back and forth with the shit, and then she just happened to record this fucking conversation and order a way to bury his ass on some level. Like, because she was already threatening to release the tapes.
I see.
Yeah. Because the prosecution pointed towards Jodi's reactions, which were time and again super horny. Like everything that he said, she reacted very positively to.
Right.
But she did, however, admit that she faked the orgasms, claiming that she needed 2 hands to make herself scoosh, and she couldn't have done it while she was holding the phone.
Speakerphone.
Nope. Said
Wow.
no speakerphone.
What?
She said no speakerphone, Kissel.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay.
She
But she
needs
could
2
have
hands
just
to make her
used...
scoosh.
No, I know. She could have just used speakerphone.
She didn't, though.
Okay, well, that's her fault.
It sounded like she was just trying to get him on tape saying something disgusting so she could use it against him and embarrass him.
Okay.
Now, all of this is, of course, terribly embarrassing and goofy. But the vast majority of sex had by most people is embarrassing and goofy when looked at from the outside, which is exactly why sex is usually a private and vulnerable affair.
I never want to hear any recording of the words I make before I ejaculate. I don't want to ever hear what those words are because it's just going, me, mine, my, oh, you, yummy, yummy. Like, I don't want to hear any of that
really?
shit.
That's what you do?
I don't know what I say. I black out.
But Jodi took that vulnerability that Travis had showed in being goofy and embarrassing, and she used it for evil purpose, calling him not only deviant, but physically abusive as well, further claiming that he at times body slammed her, kicked her, and broke her finger. Now, Kirknermy did try as hard as he could to get the pedophile letters admitted, but they were so obviously fake that the National Enquirer, the trashiest paper in the world, didn't take the bait when the letters were leaked.
Are you kidding? The National Enquirer didn't do this? They put on the front page that Ted Cruz's father killed Kennedy. And they didn't take this?
Responsible journalists.
Well, and someone had to tell the truth for once.
Well, instead of running a headline about Jodi's pedophile nightmare, they ran the truth, that Jodi had desperately tried to paint her former lover as a pedophile in an attempt to scam her freedom.
Wow.
And of course, when the pedophile letters weren't admitted, Jodi couldn't help but make up a story on the stand about walking in on Travis masturbating to a picture of a little boy wearing only underwear. Although it was obvious by this point that nobody was buying her line of bullshit.
Well, especially because Tiny Attorney Juan Martinez, when he was going through her journal, he showed that on that day that this big, huge thing that was the worst thing she'd ever experienced and she didn't ever recover for, there was a text conversation that was incredibly boring about them trading cars. So this is, again, they've been broken up for years, and they were broken up for almost a year, and she was still, like, getting rides from him, and it was this really mundane, like, exchange where it's like, but I thought I was going to pick you up. Nah, I was going to have a car and you meet me easy go to work. I guess I just got my buzz calm. And then it was a journal entry that said, literally nothing of note today. I had to refuse 4 dates from men. And so it never said anything about this bombshell. I caught Travis masturbating to pictures of little boys.
You'd think she would mention that if she mentions every little detail.
Well, especially because after she died, she had put fake entries in her own diary as evidence. She had already put, like, in the moments that when she died, she wrote an entry, like with the email and the voicemail, that was like, I hope Travis and I can work it out one day. I know that it is this whole like fantasy that she was like, I wonder where Travis has been. I haven't seen him in a couple of days, and it's not like Travis to not answer my texts.
I'm thinking this chick is crazy. That's what I'm starting to think she's nuts. I'm starting to think this chick is a little bit crazy.
I just want to interview whoever you date next. I legitimately just want to interview him. We should all be able to sit in a room with that person and deal and just see. I want to cross-examine.
No, if I ever start dating again, I'll make sure that you have to come on the date with me first.
Yeah, and I'll sit there and I'll have a briefcase chained to with a handcuff to my list. You won't know what it is, and I'll say it's my documents. And then I'm gonna put a sensor on her fingertip to see where her blood pressure goes.
Very good.
But even though no one was buying the pedophile line, Nurmi continued to reach, to the point where he made perfectly innocent YouTube videos sound dirty by saying the title of the video out of context. For example, Travis loved 2 videos in particular, called Daft Hands Double Speed Faster Better and Drunk Daft Punk Hard Body Faster Stronger.
Yep, pedophile.
I don't think that proves it, but okay.
Now, taken out of context, these videos can sound weird and scary to a bunch of squares sitting on an Arizona jury, especially in 2008 when YouTube was not the ubiquitous media giant that it is now.
Right.
But in reality, these were just a bunch of videos from an innocent early YouTube fad in which people wrote the lyrics to Daft Punk's Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger on their bodies and displayed the lyrics to match the singing. It's fun hand stuff.
Yeah, it's just totally fine. I completely remember that too. Like,
it sounds dumb.
It's no. I mean, I remember it was kind of cool. It's creative,
but it's one of those like little YouTube holes that you watch in order to go to sleep. It's like me with just watching my same Norm Macdonald and Bill Burr clips that I watch in order to go to sleep when I'm in hotel rooms.
Yeah, but Kirk Nurmi made it sound like, look at the deviant things that this man looks at on his free time.
I obviously love defense attorneys, but it can get pretty nasty.
Well,
it's a little bit when this man is obviously a huge victim here.
He didn't know what the hell to do. Kirk Nurmi was obviously kind of painted into a corner, according to him, and he was saying he was trying to get out the whole time.
Right,
but who fucking knows?
Now, Juan Martinez's cross-examination of Jodi was, of course, a goddamn shooting gallery, which is why you never, ever put your defendant on the stand, no matter what, because any halfway competent prosecutor is going to fucking eviscerate him. And Jodi tried her best to elicit sympathy from the jury, crying at all the appropriate moments in an attempt to make the tiny attorney appear as if he was a mischievous gnome haranguing an abused woman.
Don't subtweet my relationship with my wife.
Well, I always like my prosecutors to dress like the lead singer of the Cars. I think that's great.
Oh no, you mean Talking Heads?
Talking Heads.
You mean Talking
Heads?
Heads?
I'm sorry.
Rick Ocasek was a very well-dressed man.
I like my prosecutor to dress like the lead singer of Talking Heads. Multiple Talking Heads.
It's weird that I knew what you were talking about, though.
Yeah, well,
but he just goes at her, and she is She is one person when Wormy Nermy is in front of her. And you also notice she shifts the bangs for the trial, which helps her hide. And
Is it like over the top with Sylvester Stallone when he takes his hat and he puts it backwards and then he's ready to arm wrestle?
It's exactly the same.
Oh my goodness.
She's had the bangs on, which are like little drapes with soul. And it covers up whatever is going on behind the eyes or what she's going to do. She does the same hand over the face going, every single time that he says something that's remotely too over the line for her. But with Kirk Nermy, she is open and effusive, taking minutes, explaining everything, speaking.
Ugh.
With Juan Martinez, she's very budges on nothing.
Yeah.
Parcels over every fucking word. Fights it and doesn't look at him directly ever. She only looks directly to the audience, directly to the jury. And then when he refers to her, she stares at the table so that she would never make eye contact with him. So she could do, she thought that the performance was going to help. And I think if maybe she was just on the stand for 1 or 2 days, it might have held something. I might have done something.
Right.
But then you start seeing the tactics again and again. Every single time he got her in a corner, she'd get frustrated and you see a flash. You just see this fucking rage.
Yeah. That's the stabby Jodi that we all know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just feel so bad for the family of Travis and just sitting in this courtroom, 18 fucking days of watching this chick who killed your son or your brother or whatever. I don't know how they can do that. That's hard. It's so horrible.
Yeah.
And then not to mention literally just it being trampled all over, your son being trampled all over by media 24/7 who are making millions of dollars off it, not to be hypocritical because we do a true crime show.
Yes.
But like the way that the media covered it was just fucking disgusting.
It's salacious and they were into it and people wanted it. And especially after Casey Anthony. So this was after her trial. So I think that I'm almost certain that Jodi was watching her trial from jail and was trying to mirror the same tactics that she did.
Jesus, it's like it's the little world of celebrity serial killers where they get petty and they don't like one another. Like who hates like everyone like hated Bundy or something like that? Like
that's Manson. Manson called Bundy a poop butt.
He's a poop butt. Meanwhile, Manson is just talking to Sirhan about what they're having for lunch, and
this
they're like,
guy's cool. You know what I like about him is that he doesn't like Salisbury steak, so I get extra Salisbury steak on Thursdays.
Well, when Jodi would cry on the stand, especially when Juan Martinez was ramping up to the big finish, he flipped it on her. And he asked her, were you crying when you shot Travis? Were you crying when you stabbed Travis? And were you, in fact, the person who slit Mr. Alexander's throat from ear to ear?
Well, yes, I was crying when I stabbed Travis. Oh, damn it. Oh, damn it.
In which Jodi had no choice but to say, yes, I was the person who slit his throat from ear to ear. The whole thing fell apart because the whole thing hinged on whether the jury believed Jodi, whether or not she had credibility, because all of the evidence pointed towards her premeditatively killing this man.
And also, it's just the most boring shit in the world is really what ended up turning the tide as well. It was all of this shit about the gas cans.
Yes, the gas cans were huge.
All of this gas can bullshit about whether or not she had purchased 3 gas cans or do it because she was saying, I always take gas cans because I try to get the cheaper gas from California. That's why I had them. And not because I wasn't trying to not get a receipt from all these places. But then,
Judge, point of contention, when they say gas can, are they talking about my butthole?
Sir. But no, Juan Martinez then had to go through all these receipts and do all this math and all this gas math and just gets to a point where it's like
gas math.
That's
a rough day. Rough day for the juror number 7. You have to wake up. We're doing gas math.
Yeah, I tell you what, you did some gas fucking calculus in the bathroom of the studio in our little break that we just took.
Well, the whole thing, yeah. I mean, it does show how boring most trials are, because when you go online and check out the articles from a legal perspective, this one article described the gas can as Juan Martinez's Perry Mason moment. This is it's like the Perry. They said that as a direct quote. This is his Perry Mason moment. But all it is he's proving that she bought a 3rd gas can. But to them, this is huge because it works towards her credibility. And if her credibility's shot, then none of it's true. And that's when the jury turns on her.
Okay. And it cuts to the jury, and jury number 7 has those like ping pong balls, like painted like eyeballs, like glued to the front of his lids while he's just sitting in a chair.
We know he's sleeping, but it's better off if he does.
It's kind of funny. I like that he does it.
Yeah.
Well, what's weird, I didn't know this. This is something that's like specific to Arizona. The jury actually has the chance to ask questions directly to the defendant.
No kidding.
Yeah. And among reasonable questions, such as like, why did you put the camera in the washing machine? The court also allowed a few that were more abstract, like, do you consider yourself a pathological liar? And one that I was very surprised the judge allowed, what is your understanding of the word skank?
I believe it is a dance one does to ska.
It is indeed. I want to thank Ian Finance, our friend, who is reminding me ska exists every day.
Every day.
During closing arguments, though, none of that shit mattered. 4 months after it began, Juan Martinez laid out all the holes in Jodi's case while Jodi put her head down, ignored the whole thing, and doodled.
Oh, my God.
Kirk Nurmi, on the other hand, reading the room, said in his closing arguments that the trial wasn't about whether or not you like Jodi Arias, because 9 days out of 10, he didn't like Jodi Arias.
Damn. What about the one day he does? What day does he wake up and like, she's kind of cool.
She's kind of nice. She's kind of cool. No, he was being kind because according to his bullshit, he hated the entire time because one thing that she'd do is that she requested, unlike any other client he'd ever had, she would do 2-hour meetings. He's like, normally this shit lasts for a half an hour because it costs money. But I go in there and I have to schedule 2 hours with her because she talks about everything else but the murder. And she needed to be coddled every single way. She talked about drama with her mom. She talked about how she couldn't get things from the commissary. Couldn't do all this fucking bullshit. And he was going to pull his fucking hair out.
Jeez.
So he became the boyfriend.
Oh, lucky guy.
In the end, though, he said all that mattered was if you believe the murder was in self-defense. And if anything, Jodi Arias was guilty of manslaughter and nothing more. He's already setting himself up in his closing arguments to lose. He's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I get it. She's guilty of manslaughter. So at the very least, give her
anything,
that.
it's just manslaughter.
And just some manslaughter. People do it all the time. Men get slaughtered every day.
Every day they get slaughtered. You eat a chicken sandwich. You know what? That chicken was slaughtered. Think about
it's a chicken slaughter, right? You just committed first-degree chicken slaughter, right, buddy?
Who cares?
After just 15 hours of deliberation, the jury disagreed with Kirk Nurmi's assessment and voted Jodi Arias guilty of first-degree murder. Now, during the sentencing phase, which decided whether Jodi got the death penalty or life in prison, she gave a strange 19-minute statement in which she said she was sorry for killing Travis and that she planned to start a recycling program and a book club in prison, all while donating her hair to cancer victims.
That's huge.
It's huge. Thank you for the hair.
Thank you for the hair.
I mean, it's the start of a horror movie when you have cancer and then you end up with Jodi Arias' hair and then you kill everybody and then...
Oh, shit. I didn't kill her. The wig did.
The wig did it.
But also, you forget, 20 minutes after she was convicted, 20 minutes... she walked right in front of a camera. And if you watch the interview from when she was murdered, when she was first arrested, and then watch the interview after she is convicted, it is fucking wild.
Did she feel good?
It's weird.
Or like a weight was off of her shoulders?
No, absolutely not. She was trying to be on the stump again, but you can actually see it's something else. It's something about the attention, and it's something outside of the trial, because then she gets to go, and these people are fawning over her again. She's not getting torn apart by Juan Martinez. She's not looking at the dead-eyed 12 jurors that fucking hate her.
Right.
She's not dealing with the defense attorney that hates her. She's not dealing with the judge that's sick of her shit and looking at all the murderers' families. She gets to sit in front of her, a softball reporter, after you just got convicted, who's like, are you sorry? And she's just like, sorry is a word that's got 5 letters. You know what else has 5 letters is shame. And you know what else has 5 letters is glory. And you know what else has 5 letters? Donut.
You know what else has 5 letters? Knife. Whoa.
We actually did a lot of 5-letter words right there.
Blood?
Well, during her sentencing hearing, after she talked about the book club and the recycling program and the hair, she doubled down on the claim that she was a victim of domestic violence, but went a little too far by showing off her charity merch.
Oh, my God.
Which was a T-shirt with the word survivor printed on front that she brought to the sentencing trial and showed and said, these are for sale.
Check out lastpodcastmerch.com. There's so many opportunities to wear our merch at trial, at court, while serving jury.
Even if you're the judge, wear the shirt under your robe. This is disgusting. She is so freaking nasty, but she can't benefit financially. Like, she can't sell these shirts.
It's for charity. That's what she keeps saying, is that it's for charity. But it's a way to insert herself into the victim category even further without saying I'm a victim. Say, like, I'm supporting victims, but I'm also a victim.
Right.
Now, perhaps not surprisingly, considering Jodi's race, gender, and relative attractiveness, the jury was deadlocked, with 8 voting for death and 4 voting for life in prison. So, per Arizona law, the judge declared a mistrial concerning sentencing, and the prosecution got a do-over. The second time, the jury was deadlocked again, 11-1. And in Arizona, if 2 capital murder juries in a row are deadlocked, the death penalty is taken off the table. So Jodi Arias was sentenced to life in prison without parole.
And that's the power of tits. The power of tits. Wow.
As far as the other players in the story go, Juan Martinez damn near put the whole conviction in jeopardy by proving himself to be a real piece of shit.
Yeah, it turns out Tiny Attorney is a bit of a handsy attorney.
Oh, good God.
Last year, Martinez was disbarred amidst a flurry of credible sexual harassment claims, and that came in addition to an admission that he had had an affair with a blogger who was covering the Arias case, and he had leaked information to said blog.
So he was going with the turtle defense. He was just trying to become so. He wanted the suit to be so big he could just hide in it.
Yeah.
Jodi, on the other hand, has lost appeal after appeal, and it's most likely that we'll be getting Where Is She Now news pieces on Jodi Arias every 5 years until either she or we die.
Oh, goodness. God damn it, Marcus. What happened to you this week? That's how you want to end this? You want to end this whole episode on the word die?
Yeah, we will just continue to exist and exist until one day that we fade out and face the unending blackness of the grave.
Die.
It's true. Because honestly, it's true. It's completely
Well,
true.
it is true. And again, not to beat a dead horse here, but the heart goes out to the family of Travis.
Yeah.
That sucks. This whole trial, this whole media charade, that just must have been frickin' brutal. And I don't think that they've talked at all, right? I couldn't find anything on YouTube in my 8 searches that I did.
What?
Travis's parents.
Oh, no,
They
I've
didn't
never
talk at all.
seen them do
Yeah.
an interview.
So
They were
it's-
very private. I don't think
they were just devastated.
I mean, everybody was. It's just a horrible mess. Travis Alexander never should have hurt her and never should have gaslit her and let her on, but that's no excuse ever to slit a man's throat and shoot him in the head. It's just not really an excuse. But if you're in a toxic situation, you just got to find a way out. I don't know how you say that. I don't know how to be like, how do you get your friends? Like, I think we've said this before. Like, if your friend is in one of these situations, you got to try to get him out.
They tried. They told him not to victim blame whatsoever.
They didn't really though.
No.
Everybody belittled the entire situation because, and I think a lot of it's got to do with the weird Mormonism thought patterns.
It's so much easier not to kill someone. Like, I don't know.
All you have to do is not kill them.
I think the friends were just like, yeah, it's just, why would, it is out of, it's most likely not going to happen to anyone that we know. And so I don't think the friends would even comprehend that it could happen. And then,
I don't know.
Who knows?
Honestly,
Anyway,
I could see it happening to several of my friends. I could see
no one's dying. We made a rule. No dying for a decade.
Yeah. No one's allowed to die for a decade. Any one of us.
That was made last year. So 9 more years we have to stay alive.
All right.
By rule.
All right.
And that includes everyone who's listening. Thank you all so much for listening to this series on Jodi Arias. I know she was covered a lot in media, but I think that we learned a lot of new details and a lot of interesting things.
Yeah.
Good.
You know, by the law of averages, one of our listeners will not survive this week.
I don't want you to talk anymore now. It's actually weird. You are in free speech jail just for being sad.
Hey, welcome, man. We're bunkmates.
Yeah, you guys are bunkmates.
Look,
I'm lonely. I don't have any friends anymore, but
I wrote a journal of my own shit, Marcus. Hell yeah.
Marcus is just scratching the word die into his arm. All right.
No, it's death. It's not die, it's death. It's an obsession with death that is developed this year.
Cool.
That's just so healthy, Marcus.
Hey, I mean, at least he's saying it out loud.
At least he is. That matters. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for listening. Hope you're hanging in there. It does seem weird to plug merch at this point, so
I already did it.
You already did it. In a perfectly placed position. So thank you all so much for listening. Hope everyone is hanging in there and surviving the best you can. We shall get through this, and we will be on the road in Omaha.
Don't you fucking
this
do
next
this.
Sunday. We are playing the street corner.
One day at a time, sweet Jesus, that's all I'm asking of you.
Oh, you're better than Jodi Arias.
We got to get through this one day at a time, so.
Hail yourselves, everyone.
Hail Satan.
Again.
Magustalations.
Give a hell me if you can afford it.
They can afford it.
If we got an extra hell, it's out here.
The nice thing about hailing someone is it's free to do.
It is.
Unless we finally copyright it. Unfortunately. No, we're never going to do that.
No, I think the word hail has been copywritten by a whole other group of people.
Oh, that's with an E.
This show is made possible by listeners like you. Thanks to our ad sponsors, you can support our shows by supporting them. For more shows like the one you just listened to, go to lastpodcastnetwork.com.
Breathe in. Feel the sense of calm that comes from having up to $300 in overdraft protection with GoToBank. Now,
Did you say $300?
yes. Now, back to our breathing.
So if I overspend my balance, GoToBank has my back up to $300.
Yes. Can we breathe out now? Less worries, more zen, with over $300 in overdraft protection. Tap to open an account today. Eligible direct deposits and opt-in required for overdraft protection. Fees, terms, and conditions apply.
You wouldn't take financial advice from a 72 hours in a single day alpha influencer, would you? Same goes if you're in a car accident or any accident. Who you choose matters. That's why Morgan & Morgan exists. They're the largest injury law firm in America, and they've built a reputation by actually winning cases, not just talking about it. Over 1,000 lawyers across all 50 states and $30 billion recovered. Injured? Go to forthepeople.com/podcast. That's forthepeople.com/podcast.